So now we have additional guests. We have Alan Davis and Merrick Belsky from weBounty, and he was introduced to me, I believe, by Jean, somebody from the office.
I think so,
We know the councilman.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so I was asked to go ahead and bring him forward. Hi, Dee. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick before you sit down?
Hello, everyone. I'm Desiree Berrigan, also known as Dee. I'm with the Roosevelt Park Neighborhood Association and the Neighborhood Commission. Welcome. Out of breath.
Well, some of our titles are a little bit of a mouthful. So Alan and Merrick, you have 10 minutes.
All right, thank you. So I'm Merrick Belsky, and this is Alan Davis, and together we're the founders of weBounty. We're a very small company right now, but we feel that the product we've built can help the communities solve some of their problems. Our objective here today is to present the platform to you, as well as hear out some of the issues that the Community Leadership Council is facing, see if our platform can help out in any way. First, I'd like to go over some of the terminology we use when we talk about weBounty, and what we mean when we say bounties, recipients, and pledgers. A bounty is simply a reward for completing a stated goal. In popular culture, it's been used a lot for the capturing of fugitives, but bounties can and have been used for a lot more than that. It's these other use cases that we want to explore with our product. With the advent of online activism and crowdfunding, there's opportunities now for individuals and communities to use tools that were previously only available to the state and to large organizations. With weBounty, we want to make bounties available to everyone to use for the public good. Now, the core component of a bounty is the objective, and that's the goal that needs to be accomplished in order for the bounty to be considered completed. The party responsible for completing the objective can either be explicitly defined when the bounty is being created on the platform, or it can be left open to anyone to claim it completed. Pledgers are participants that believe in the cause enough that they're willing to put some of their capital behind it. At the other end, there's the recipient, which is the party that's going to receive the reward when the bounty is completed. Now, typically this could be the party that's also responsible for completing the bounty itself, or it can be a charity or a third party that pledgers want to support. When the goal is achieved, evidence gets posted to the bounty page. And at that point, it's up to the pledgers to vet that evidence and decide if it's sufficient to mark the bounty complete. At that point, the money in the pool gets sent over to the recipient. Though it does take one person to actually start the bounty, at that point, anyone can become a supporter. Someone can get involved by pledging just as little as $1. The number of pledgers shows how popular a bounty is with the community, while the amount of money on it is a clear indicator of what's going to get rewarded when the bounty is achieved. So each person that supports a bounty is going to increase the real-world incentive for getting it completed. So at weBounty, we believe that capital is one of the best incentives for driving change. And we've been experimenting with this model for the past couple of months. In the past, we've helped teachers raise awareness for their Donors Choose projects. We've held art and poetry competitions. We've also raised money for charities when hikers made it to the top of the mountain. More recently, we've been experimenting with self-improvement bounties where users drive their friends and family to either eat healthier or do more exercise. We feel that helping people improve their communities is the next logical step for us. In light of that, we've started working with the Redwood City Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department. Their goal is to add new art installations to the downtown area. And they're also looking for ways to get the community involved. There we want to leverage weBounty to not only raise awareness, but also help the city's money go a little bit further. By raising funds from local businesses and community members, we can expand the scope of the project, as well as advance subsequent beautification plans. In the future, we'd like to do even more with weBounty. We feel that bounties can be a tool for driving change, not just personally, locally, politically, but potentially even internationally. As we establish ourselves, we're keen to find out if our users agree. In the past, we've already been pretty surprised by some of the bounties they've put up and some of the problems they've tried to solve with the platform. So we're here today to listen to the issues that the San Jose Community Leadership Council is facing. We want to collaborate on those that we feel are within our current scope, and hopefully provide a shorter path to solve. With that, I'd like to pass it off to Alan, who will be taking any questions about the platform.
You know, before we open it up to questions, do you think it might be helpful if we had a specific example of some kind of a community project? I mean, we've heard about the teachers and the charities and the arts, but if you could give us a specific community project example, I think that might make people feel a little more engaged.
Sure. Well, I think John presented a great one, which was cleaning up these off-ramps on 280. So, I mean, it sounds like it's a community goal. There's multiple people that want to see it achieved, but there isn't a real clear way, or there isn't a clear person that's responsible for it. So someone could create a bounty for having the 11th Street off-ramp cleaned up. We could gather community members that are interested in seeing that happen and pledge to it, and then the money on the bounty could be rewarded to the person who does the work.
So the money could pay for cleanup supplies, for bags, for gloves, that type of thing.
Yep.
Just out of my curiosity, how many people in this room have their own volunteer yellow or green vest? I thought, well, not on you, I mean, just in your possession. I'm surprised, I thought a lot more people would have that, but okay. But, you know, they are provided at cleanup, so maybe that's what. So let's open up the floor for
But
Alan.
the problem with this project is we're talking about ongoing maintenance. It's not a one-time.
Okay, but, I mean, he just used that as an example of a kind of community project, but I understand what you're saying. This is not a one-time, we're done. Because as soon as you're done, you're gonna have to start over.
And we're prepared to tackle issues that are recurring. So, you know, we don't have the features in place yet, but we do imagine bounties that will be created, and you know, they'll collect money each month, and at the end of the month, you know, it goes to the same project. So
So that might be a way. Is there
Sorry. Oh, you're done? No?
Well, it was Susan that was speaking, that was a different person, but you had your hand up
Oh.
for Richard, so.
You had your hand
up, I was bad.
Yes.
Okay, where do you get the money from?
so the money is raised by the person who creates the bounty, or anybody that's interested in seeing the objective completed.
So like I would have to create the bounty and then I would give the money to do this? Is that-
Yeah, it's so as a crowdfunding platform, we expect that a lot of issues will be tackled by a community. So you, as along with the community, would pledge. So maybe you pledge $10, another person, you know, they're feeling big about it and they want to pledge $50, and you know, and so each person can pledge however much they.
They would give the money to the people that are doing the work, or just?
If that's what the bounty creator has chosen when they create the bounty.
So the bounty person decides how it's all kind of done?
Yes.
And supplies the funds.
And then, Richard, are you chairing the meeting? Look, he's calling on Antonina for me. Thank you. Antonina!
At least like to
I
know.
was curious, you said that you wait till after the project is funded, or after the project is completed, and then you decide whether or not they've achieved their objectives, so it's a reasonable, right?
Yes, it is, and this is part of our accountability. We want to make sure that the work is done and actually done satisfactorily. We imagine sometimes people are going to, say they did the work, but the community that put the money up is going to disagree with that. And so at that point, if the community says, no, you haven't done the work, well, the person has the option to either go do a better job, or the money will go to another person that will do the job.
So the actual resources to get the project done needs to happen first, and then
Yep.
Is this one?
Okay, Antonina and then Levy. and
My
then-
question is that to create a bounty, do you need funds?
No, so you can actually, we just recently changed this, you can now create a bounty for free, you don't need to make a pledge, you can see what it looks like. And you'll be able to share that privately, so you'll be able to send the link to people and they'll be able to see the bounty. In order to have it publicly visible on the platform, you will need to make a pledge to it.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. I think what we're looking at.
Wait, so
No,
we
just
have,
keep going. It's
we
on the
have
answer.
Levy, and I'm sorry, I forgot your first name.
Sheila.
Sheila, and then
Ruben.
Ruben. Okay, so we're gonna actually run out of time, so let's try to make it brief.
And let me just make one, we'll be around at the end of the meeting, so if anybody does have questions, we can definitely.
Okay, if you think your question is non-specific to the group, then if you don't mind waiting until 8, that's fine. Levy, what do you think about yours?
Goods and services a part of the bounty ever?
I'm sorry, can you be a little bit more specific?
Like bartering,
Oh.
if there are other things other than money.
Potentially down the road, but right now we're just focusing on using money.
In some instances that people probably need seed money
Mhm.
to get off on this. So in your instance, the money comes after the fact.
Yep.
An idea of before the project or an incentive or a benchmark along the way to where they could help out with that?
So we definitely will be exploring that. There are some existing platforms which are also our competitors, and they do a better job of tackling that. They, so like Kickstarter will raise money before the project, and some of these platforms also require the creator or the project owner to set a goal. That's not a requirement with a bounty, so you don't. It's the goal is to get the objective completed. It's not to raise a certain amount of money. So that's one specific difference, and we're actually focusing on being a little bit different by not going after that stuff. So,
Thank you. So I know we had Sheila and Ruben, but there's one more person I missed. Who was that? You weren't counted in that list, but okay. So we'll do Sheila and then Ruben. You snuck in there, Melvin. Sheila and Ruben.
Just really quick, contact information.
you can email either of us, and we'll have business cards that we can.
Ruben?
Now, is this a way, now could your services be used, if there's graffiti at a local park, and then we set up this bounty and say, all right, does anyone want to paint, clean up the graffiti? Is that kind of like the objective?
Yep. That's a great idea for bounty.
Okay. So, yeah, because you could be a good tool to help local neighborhoods. I could totally see that. On the flip side, I could see someone taking advantage and, you know what, here's a bounty to someone to mow my lawn. Who's going to, and at that point, you're maybe you're setting up these bounties that compete with local small businesses. So, great idea. I like it, but I could also see people kind of.
Yeah, and I mean we'll be
working
working
other industries.
Yeah, and we'll be working internally to make sure that people aren't taking advantage of the system, that bounties are properly set up and well presented.
Okay, and Melvin, real
Can
quick,
anybody
please.
be a recipient, or do you have to be a 501c3? And do you put a cap on the bounty because you're only pledging? But let's say you had a cap for 10,000, but you only have pledges of 4,000. Do you close that and then charge people? Or?
So the bounty creator can set a goal if they would like, if they'd like that to be part of the bounty, they can specify that. It's definitely not required. Anybody can be a recipient. So yeah, 501c, Joe off the street, yeah, anyway.
Okay, Tina, absolutely the last one, we're not going to schedule.
So what's the percentage you guys take?
We take a 6% fee when anybody withdraws money from the platform, or 10% fee if we pay them, if through an operations we pay out to a charity or something.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And again, Ellen and Merrick will be here for the 8 to 8:30 half hour. So if you have any questions about their business plan, please feel free to pick that up. Okay, we are running a little bit behind time, and you guys know that's my personal boogeyman, but we